It's been over a week since I've been able to do one of these poems because we just had perhaps the only live and in-person commencement exercise in the United States, at least among colleges. We haven't heard of any others at any rate. It was a very busy week and a very fruitful one. And I simply didn't have time to do my daily poem. But the world seems to be easing up a bit in any case. I want to spend a little time today doing W.B. Yeats's Sailing to Byzantium, one of his most famous lyric poems. And I also want to have a new schedule for these readings of poetry, perhaps twice a week, sometimes maybe 3, we'll see, but not every day as we did during our COVID quarantine. Yeats's Sailing to Byzantium draws upon his deep awareness, not only of his own age and his age in years personally, and his sense of what art does and what kind of immortality art guarantees, but also his sense of the city of Byzantium or Constantinople and the astonishing works of art that were completed there in the early days of the early centuries of the church after Constantine converted. I think he's thinking of Hagia Sophia and other masterful places where mosaics were present in such plenitude, such beauty. Yeats here in this poem, in lines that will be familiar to everyone from the movies even, is thinking about old age and what it brings and what consolations there might be. So let me read through Sailing to Byzantium, and then I'll say just a couple of things about it. That is no country for old men, the young in one another's arms, birds in the trees, those dying generations at their song. The salmon falls, the mackerel crowded seas, fish, flesh or fowl, commend all summer long whatever is begotten, born, and dies. Caught in that sensual music, all neglect, monuments of unaging intellect. An aged man is but a paltry thing, a tattered coat upon a stick, unless soul clap its hands and sing, and louder sing for every tatter in its mortal dress. Nor is there singing school, but studying monuments of its own magnificence. And therefore I have sailed the seas and come to the holy city of Byzantium. O sages standing in God's holy fire, as in the gold mosaic of a wall, come from the holy fire, burn in a gyre, and be the singing masters of my soul. Consume my heart away, sick with desire, and fastened to a dying animal. It knows not what it is, and gather me into the artifice of eternity. Once out of nature, I shall never take my bodily form from any natural thing, but such a form as Grecian goldsmiths make, of hammered gold and gold enameling to keep a drowsy emperor awake, or set upon a golden bough to sing to lords and ladies of Byzantium of what is past or passing or to come. This is one of those poems that doesn't so much need explication as it does a kind of amazed and, almost reverent commentary. So much does Yeats condense into these lines. In the first stanza, that is no country for old men, you'll surely recognize the title of Cormac McCarthy's novel and the movie that was made from it. But the whole first stanza is about this sensual music, being caught up in the world of becoming, of being born, being begotten, then born, dying. The sensual music in which all are so entranced by the beloved, by the whole prospect of the processes of nature, that the mind falls into neglect. Second stanza, an aged man, which Yeats is at this point, is a paltry thing, tattered coat upon a stick, unless soul clap its hands and sing and louder sing, for every tatter in its mortal dress. As the body ages and falls into decrepitude, the soul has to intensify in its work. And this is Yeats's intention in his art. So at the end of the second stanza, therefore I have sailed the seas and come to the holy city of Byzantium, entering into in imagination this place of luminous permanence and splendid art. So he asked the sages who are in this mosaic to come down to him and be the singing masters of his soul. Notice these lines: consume my heart away, sick with desire, and fastened to a dying animal. It knows not what it is. So the heart, as this seat of passions and emotions, has to be consumed away if he's going to be taken up into the permanence of the artifice of eternity, as he puts it. The actual passions of the man need to give way to the permanent elegance of the art. And then in the last stanza, this is certainly not so much Christian in its emphasis as it is artistic, even though the great mosaics in Byzantium are Christian mosaics. Yeats is here thinking, as Keats does, I think, in the Grecian Urn and poems like that, of what it means for your soul to be taken into your art. What does it mean to endure past your own death in a work of art, as Yeats certainly endures in this poem? He imagines being a form such as Grecian goldsmiths make, that's set upon a golden bough. The golden bough referring not only to Fraser's great anthropological work, but more particularly to the golden bough in the Aeneid, that is the necessary ticket, so to speak, to the underworld that lets Aeneas descend. The poet set there as this mediator between the world of the living, the world of the past, the world of the future, to sing of what is past or passing or to come.